Hello, everyone. It's good to be finally back. It's been a while. We've been very busy making some really cool videos. We just came back from a lab management today, LMT 2025 in Chicago, Lab Day, and it was pretty exciting. So we had a lot of fun. We're going to go over some of the stuff that we've seen at the show, some of the trends. We've seen some friends. We had some fun, but generally going to talk about what's been happening in Chicago and what we've been doing. So
what's going on in the industry? You know, we went with the high hopes of really seeing a lot of great innovation. I think we saw some okay things. I always think, and maybe it's just our high expectation because we've been in digital so long, that I'm hoping to see more. Something that knocks you off your chair, the wow factor, like, oh my goodness.
That one thing everybody talks about.
Yeah, that everybody's talking about. And, you know, it's very similar, as printing evolved or, zirconia first came out, that there was a buzz in the town, or like as 3Shape evolved their platform, that you could do different things. It's just, I really don't feel like we have that in the past few years. Although there's a lot of innovation in the industry, nothing in the aspect that'll revolutionize, right? I think my biggest excitement of going to the show, or what I was really dedicated to really want to see, was Carbon, right? Carbon was talking about their new flexible material.
They promoted everywhere.
Everywhere, right?
Yeah.
We walked through the show, and Milos was going to put some clips. They had it on the escalators. They had it all over the LMT, that this was going to revolutionize the industry. It was the first reliable, consistent, quality, printable, flexible on the market. No disrespect again, and this is our opinion, total bust. So disappointing.
Yeah.
In the aspect, and when you look at flexis, and we're pretty vocal about that, we mill our TCS flexis, and we'll talk a little bit about TCS and the great breakfast and meeting we had with them. We're looking for characteristics that whether we mill the prosthesis, print the prosthesis, or inject the prosthesis, you're really not going to tell a difference.
Yeah.
It's not the fact that our clients are calling and say, give us the injectable or the millable, or give us the printable. Whether we print a digital denture or we process a denture, our clients can't really tell the difference. We've really perfected it in a way that, and we don't have to tell them to service it any differently.
What we were expecting is the same feel as 100%. A flexible denture. So it's really important for flexible material to be able to be flexed, which is in the name, quite a bit, and then going back to its original position, having sufficient amount of memory, and that's what I think the nylon content in it dictates.
Does, right.
Unfortunately, with some of the stuff that we've seen from Carbon, and I believe Haygears had a version, and maybe some other company as well, there was too much rigidity in the material, which makes me a little more concerned that the average wearer, the average patient, is not going to be able to service that efficiently. That you will see a lot of fractures.
Yeah. So one of the things when we went up to the booth, the first natural test to the material is exactly like Milo said. You go and flex it. You go put a little pressure on that and see what their rebuttal to the fact of, don't squeeze that, it's going to break, was that it needed to be soaked in moisture. Mm-hmm. That's not a real good solution. Although, yes, a lot of people that wear removable prostheses are accustomed to soaking them at night. It's a little concerning. And then also as a manufacturing facility, one thing I don't like as well is the cartridge dispenser that you use to dispense that material into the tray is time sensitive. So today when we're printing on our printers, whether it's Formlabs or Sega or any other system out in the industry, we could take that tray, put it in a dark plastic container, and it will hold its validity.
It's amber seal.
Right, amber seal. Yeah. So if we don't print the whole tray today, tomorrow we can pull that tray. A week from now, 2 weeks from now, we can pull that tray. Yes, some of the materials you have to stir it or re-agitate it, but you could go ahead and use it. From what I understand with the Carbon flexible material, it has like a 6 to 8 hour shelf life at most, and then the material goes bad. So there was a lot of disappointment in that. I don't necessarily think it's a failure of just blaming Carbon for it. The realization is many, many companies like Meyerson, TCS, Valplast, major flexible companies in this industry have gone and tried to perfect this. And it's so technique sensitive that even when you press it, or like TCS presses it into a puck, it's very time consuming.
What they've mentioned is supposedly this is just the first iteration, right? And other companies have said, this is the first iteration, okay for first iteration, but the end goal is to just print everything in one shot. Meaning
100%.
Having the flexible material printed, for the base, and then the teeth and everything in one shot, so you don't have to bond them together, have any potential separation there. But my concern with that is, if you print the teeth out of the same material, aren't teeth going to be flexible at that point?
Well, yeah. So I think it's two different materials, kind of, and we're going to roll
like
that
a
into
polyjet technology.
Yeah, polyjet. So we're going to roll that into talking a little bit about Meyerson after we kind of address that. I think more concerning about the fact, I do believe that like polyjet, they'll be able to use two different materials. So you'll have a two structure material and you'll have a flexi material. The part I would love to see is how that's going to bond together. Even though it's printing and kind of curing together, the question is now you have a flexible restorative with a solid structure, and without retention holes or the specific bonding techniques that we use here at Synergy 3D for our millable flexibles and our milled teeth. I'm questionable if it's going to be able to sustain itself and you're not going to have teeth pop out.
Yeah.
In saying that, Meyerson is pretty confident by the end of this year, the latest, they should have a printable solution with their new printing machine. They did just launch it in December. They were demoing it in the LMT Zon booth. And I got to tell you, the technology, the aesthetics of the denture, the serviceability of the denture seems very good. Yeah. We're going to run a lot of beta tests here at the facility over the next few months, and we look forward to giving you the feedback and really holding that material to the test to really see if it could do everything it said it could do. If I have to do devil's advocate or do's and don'ts or things I love and don't love, I don't love the platform. The fact that right now where it sits, you can only get 4.5 in 4.5 hours, you only can get 4 dentures. For a production facility like us, I just don't see it working. As it prints today, I see that, believe it or not, other than the footprint is quite large, being a great solution for a chairside solution. Because the post-processing for their specific printer is a lot less and a lot less invasive than most post-processing, I could see that being a good footprint or a good solution for chairside. They partner with a lab like ours. We help them with the design aspect. And then they go ahead and print, post-process, and run it.
The office is never going to run into more than 4 dentures a day, unlike us. And even if they do, they can still get 2 runs out of it in a day. But on average, they're not going to do that. So for them, and it will give them that advantage of everything's done in one shot. They don't 100%. Have to worry about finishing it in any
significant way. So I think the value is that even though they have potentially more, let's hypothetically say you go to a high volume community health center, or a high volume practice that really specializes in removable, although they might have maybe more than 4 in a day, they're not going to need 4 deliverables in a day, right? It's a customer saying, hey, here's a premium for your same day denture. Or they're going to say, hey, we're going to print all our immediates for same day, and then overnight we could throw another 4 to 8 in a night shift. The good thing about Meyerson, for what they're telling us, is that they're going to be able to reduce the print times by almost half. At that point, now there's maybe a better ROI on it. But again, when you look at our facility on a plate, we're typically printing between 8 to 12 pallets, bases, in a 4-hour cycle. So we're doing 3 times at some point production than what that printer could do today. In devil's advocate, again, we have to bond our own teeth.
Right.
We have to mill the teeth on a separate machine. But at the same time, when you look at it, it's really not that much more time consuming, where I can't see us as a mass manufacturing facility making the move tomorrow.
And it was just like any technology. It's a first of its kind. It's expensive. It's a little big. But as any technology we've seen over the years, it will shrink. It will get more affordable, and it will get faster and better. So that's our hope, at least.
100%.
Yeah.
A couple of the exciting things when we go into printing, right? We were really excited. Milos had the pleasure of lecturing for Formlabs.
Yes, I did.
Again, I know we're not cheerleaders for Formlabs, but we really love what they're doing. And in that lecture, he was able to announce that they're now validated for printing Dentsply base material.
So I can expand on that. So up until recently, Formlabs was a closed system, if you want to call it that, even though they offered a wide array of different resins for their printer, more than most companies out there. They finally realized what will make their printer more accessible, more future-proof, more flexible in today's dynamic market. And so they announced open material mode. It's a one-time fee. They used to unlock your printer, and any resin that cures their 405 Newton meter frequency can be used on that printer, including the Lucitone resin. So now, at this point, on a 4B platform, which is a slightly smaller printer, you can have a removable denture lab with basically digitized to a point that you've never seen before
100%.
in the industry.
Well, and it's also now you have a platform that's affordable, right? So when you used to look at our industry, and we did it in the beginning, carbon was the only one that was validated for the Lucitone base material. So we had carbons here, and we would print our Lucitone base on it. And at that time, it made sense. As the industry evolved, then Asiga got its validation. And if you go back to our print videos, you can hear a lot more in depth about that. And although Asiga in the beginning was a little bit of an uphill battle for us, as Milos said in one of our last videos, when we first got it, it was like getting a Ferrari with a plastic cup holder, right? It's evolved a lot, but we were really desperately looking for a partner that had a great quality printing solution, affordable, that could do more. And Formlabs was up for the challenge.
Easy to scale.
Yeah,
as well.
easy to scale.
Because they're more affordable, we can scale more units as we grow. And by scaling, we're creating redundancy. So it's a one-time.
100%. And you look at it right now, the 4B is the only one that's validated on it. If there's enough demand for even higher production for doing more base printing, the 4BL is compatible to potentially do it. The only reason Formlabs really hasn't moved forward with that yet is that platform. And if you haven't looked at the 4BL lab owners, you're missing out. Phenomenal platform, excellent printer, so affordable. The material is great. We're making a move in the next year to revamp our whole print room to go Formlabs. Again, it's got nothing to do with the fact that Formlabs gives us anything other than great customer service and a great product and affordable price. The day of having to spend astronomical lease payments to reduce your material cost, and then being fearful that if you don't have enough volume to justify the amortization, how it amortizes over the year to justify the lease payments, is over. Formlabs has finally made or came out with printers that are affordable, consistent, phenomenal quality. We do all our removable models with the draft material, right? Which we're getting models.
It's a fast model, great material.
Great material. So we're getting models in 15 to 16 minutes. If you go back to Milos's lecture through Henry Schein and Formlabs, they literally had a printer running the 4B, which is just a smaller footprint.
It was pretty cool.
4BL.
No other printer has never done that. So as I was doing my presentation, we were able to get 2 plates just fully printed and just like dumped in a bucket using their new Flex.
Oh, their new Flex thing is amazing as well, too. Listen, it's not a Formlabs rah-rah cheerleader conversation again. We're going to drop off of that. I just wanted to say, if you haven't looked into the Formlabs, whether the 4B or the 4BL, guys, you're missing out. Go take a look at it. I'm going to leave it at that. Another great thing that we did find out when we're talking about validations of printers in the industry that are validated for printing the Dentsply base material, Haygears just got validated as well, too. Another young company that's really starting to become an up and coming. We're going to keep a very close eye on it. In fairness to Haygears, we did a lot of beta testing with them when they first came out. We had some successes and some failures, but it is a company that we're going to keep an eye on and see really what they're doing. They're really trying to automate the print process. They do run a similar motto to Carbon, much cheaper, obviously, but a company that we're going to keep an eye on. We'll leave it at that. On an exciting note, too, another thing category that we're going to look at was AI, right?
AI. Oh, yeah. AI was big. So we worked, we've had talks with 2 different companies. One was Denscape, and the other one it's in one of the videos. I'm going to be able to put it up on the screen. Basically, it's a big race right now. Everybody's trying to beat 3Shape and Exocad to it. 3Shape has had the upper hand of doing a single unit restorative, Exocad as well. Now other companies are jumping in. True Abutment's jumping in with their suite, AI suite, but also Denscape and this other company that I'm going to be putting it up on the screen. What I've noticed is we really see, and we can expand more on this, where the real potential with the need is for AI right now. I don't think it's in a single unit restore because we already have 2 different platforms that can do that. But I do see that a lot of these companies are very slow in their ability to grow and offer different product lines in AI. And I think the reason is simply because they don't have enough information or access to enough information to feed the machine model to learn how to do it.
Yeah. So this is my opinion, and Milos and myself, as we created Synergy, we always wanted to figure out how to be a disruptor in the industry per se, right? I think we're one of the first facilities in the industry that 98% of the restorative that we produce out of our facility gets delivered back to the office in 5 days or less. So in that way, we were a disruptor, right? Most laboratories are turning their product in 7, 10 to 15 days, depending where they're manufacturing the world. But because of how much we digitized, we're getting our product back in 5 days or less. So this comes down to the same thing. AI, when you're talking to these AI companies, are trying to chase the train. What do I mean by that? Like Milos said, 3Shape, Exocad, they got that single unit AI crown pretty much perfected, where you could get AI crown single unit specifically from 3Shape in a matter of seconds if you pay the fee, right? 10 hours at most.
Pretty successful.
So when we sat with some AR partners that we are helping with some R&D and development, in my opinion, the next big disruptor in the industry, or the next big excitement, is finding an AI company that can produce flexible digital designs and denture designs, right? Because at the end of the day, when you look at it, even as a lab owner, and for the practitioners that are watching, can maybe contest this as well too. We could design as a qualified technician a crown within 5 minutes or less, right? Single unit crown, 5 minutes or less. You could find designers throughout the United States. You could use outsourced out of the United States designers, and it's very affordable.
Yeah.
It's not very expensive. Where the big bite to the bottom line is in our industry today is when you're doing removal design. I don't care how good of a removal design technician you are. A flexible partial, it's gonna take you a minimum, I think, of 20 minutes to design that, right?
20 minutes, 30 minutes, depending on the software you're using, the quality of the scan that you have. I would say for removable design, because when we average it out, whether it's a full let's say upper denture or full upper flexible denture, you're looking at 30 minutes for sure. That's
a good average.
Yeah.
And when you look at the cost of what you're trying to produce that denture for, a large part of your profits is getting eaten up by design. So we met with a couple AI companies. We are going to do some R&D. Stay tuned for sure with that category, because we're going to hope that within the near future, we'll be able to really validate and endorse an AI company that's going to have at least either like if you go back to our initial video last week and the week before of how to do a copy denture or replacement denture, by utilizing that data that we taught you how to capture by itero, and we're going to teach you with other scanners in the near future. Taking that data, inputting it into an AI platform, getting, even if you, and then what I told the AI company, if we even get that to 85, 90%, and then we just have to pay our technicians to tweak it, this is a home run. And then we can evolve it from there.
I'm sorry, the company's H3D.
Oh, yeah, that's right.
H3D, those are the two guys that used to work for 3Shape. They started their own company, and then Denscape. So H3D and Denscape were the two companies we were looking at.
And I can tell you, H3D has already got a byte splint protocol for AI, and they felt pretty confident that they could then take that data with some data we would supply them of how to then evolve that into removable design.
And then Denscape is also another company that they're trying to work really hard and get all the feedback to really grow that platform.
I really, really like Denscape. They're a young company. I don't like them because I think that they have it all figured out. I like them because they remind me a lot of Formlabs, where they're listening to the industry and they're trying to adapt. And Formlabs is a perfect example. We really started working closely with Formlabs about 8 months ago, and the amount of involvement and development that they've done just in that time period is so exciting to us. And again, we're not cheerleaders for them. I'm not telling you that's the printer you have to use, but I honestly think if you do an ROI on that printer on the business side of it, I can comfortably endorse the fact that you get your return much, much faster. You'd be much, much more profitable in your per model print cost. And then on a technician side, I think Milos could tell you that he's pretty impressed with what he's getting out of it, right?
Can we also mention the fact that one of our other units, which shall not be named, experienced a nearly catastrophic failure that 3 of us had to spend time here fixing. We talked of a unit that's worth anywhere from $40,000 to $50,000. So we talked that big talk about reliability and spending a lot of money on a big piece of machinery. I mean, you have to rethink that.
Yeah, I mean, when you look at it, this particular printer, and again, I'm not going to call them out. At the end of the day, we did get back up and running. It is an automated system. It did cost us almost $50,000. The way I look at it now with Formlabs, I could get 3 to 5 units, depending on which unit you're buying. And if I have one unit go down, now I have the redundancy, right? when that printer went down, although you say you set it and forget it because it runs through the night, it was down. If we didn't have other printing solutions here, we'd be done for, especially with our stringent turnaround times of 5 days or less.
Yeah.
We don't have a choice but to be operational. We don't have a choice to have quality and consistency. And again, that's why I'm right now where we sit today, and I hope they hold on to that forever. I'm in love with Formlabs. It just is what it is. But I'm not going to say Formlabs again for the rest of the episode, I promise.
If he does, make sure you leave it in the comments.
Yeah. We also had a great breakfast with TCS.
Okay.
Right?
I skipped that one. You were there because I had to prepare for my presentation.
So we have a great relationship with TCS. We've actually worked with them in creating protocols. So they actually developed a millable puck, believe it or not, probably about almost 2 years ago. And then they just didn't know what to do with it, right? It's one thing to create the product, but then saying, how do I design the restorative to be able to mill a flexi, right? So they could have used that flexible puck and just milled a frame and then processed acrylic over it.
Give us to us. We know what to do with it.
Yeah, we'll figure it out. And we did, right? Yeah. We did. So when I guess their initial mindset was when they developed that puck was to do what people do with Meyerson's material. You mill the frame, whether it's pink or clear, and then you process acrylic over it. Mm-hmm. We just took it to the next level, and we designed, Milos and his team designed a protocol of how to mill flexibles with the proper retention post in it, with everything you need to really get a strong quality aesthetic flexible restorative
while maintaining that functionality of a Lego system,
right?
But everything kind of
exactly. So we could be high production, right?
Yeah.
By having that Lego system, it increases productivity. So we did meet with them, just kind of get updates, see where we were going in the industry, where they're going in the industry. We did stress to them that we'd love to see a printable material. They also did stress the fact of how hard that is and a lot easier said than done. They also did vocalize their disappointment in what they saw in the companies that were so excited for printing and how non-flexible they were. And then we also talked to them about their natural clear material, which we just finished beta testing, believe it or not, about an hour ago. And we really like it. So we were using VisiClear for what we call our chameleons. So it's a clear milled frame with a processed acrylic saddle on top of that. The one thing we weren't 100% in love with Meyerson's flexible material was that it was not rigid enough. It was really, really soft. Specifically, if you wanted high aesthetic clasps, they were really flimsy. And the couple beta test mills that we just went through with TCS, their natural clear flexible material actually gives us the rigidity we want. There is the clear and clarity that we were looking for, but we're going to do some more tests on that and hopefully have an update video for you guys on what we really thought about it. But that meeting was great. It was good hearing with those guys and meeting with them.
Since we utilize 3Shape in a big way at our facility, Exocad as well, but 3Shape in a very significant way, I did go by their booth. And so there's a new version of Dental Systems. It's 2024. They did make significant improvements in the speed at which the software loads. It has to do with the changing how SQL database, which what 3Shape is based on, how it addresses cases and looks for things. And they also improved a lot of their alignment tools. So if you have multiple scans that you're trying to align the bites and different structures, the selection tool has been improved. So that gives us extra accuracy there. Virtual articulator has been improved. Nothing major, right? Just minor tweaks.
And sometimes that's not a bad thing, right?
Yeah.
You know, always, as long as there's some type of involvement, right? Yeah. You don't become irrelevant, right? So the nice thing about 3Shape is they're constantly doing something.
But I will tell you, they did tease something on the implant planning side, and I truly hope, they didn't say anything, but I kept pushing. I truly hope it's a stackable system.
Yeah.
Because 3Shape Implant Studio, unlike Co-Diagnostics or other implant planning softwares, they're great, but they have actually too much functionality, especially if you're trying to teach other technicians on how to do implant planning, whereas Implant Studio is very streamlined. You just go and you knock out those guides in big cases, whether they have anchor pins or simple guides, doesn't matter. The only thing that's missing is a stackable system, which is what companies like BioHorizon, Row, all these companies utilize, and it's that smile in a box package that you get. If I can get that, then it's a home run.
100%.
Because I can overlay the foundation, the bone reduction guide, then the regular guide, then the PMMA provisional all in one shot.
Did they give you any teaser indicator of like what that looks like and when?
She said big things are coming to Implant Studio.
Okay, that's all she said.
That's the only thing.
She kept you kind of vague.
Yeah, but I mean, nothing else is really missing there except for that.
No, yeah. So I agree with you 1,000%. I think that that you're right. You're going to see that. The question is when, right?
Yeah.
So I mean, it's a no-brainer. What else is left to do? So I'm excited to see what that'll bring.
Yeah,
sure.
but that software has worked well for us. Obviously, ExoCat was there. They're pushing their AI platform in a significant way. But we'll see where it all goes as far as AI is concerned. Other things, after everything was done, we did go to Smith & Wollensky.
Beautiful
like we
time.
do every year.
Absolutely. It's our little great job, right?
Yeah.
Let's go and relax and enjoy. And we always have phenomenal steaks there.
Yeah, it was pretty cold this year. In Chicago.
This year I didn't book it the wrong one.
No, you didn't.
Last year, the big joke is from Milos and the rest of the team when we go. We walked to Smith & Wollensky's, and I'm like, I have a 6:30 dinner reservation. Like, Mr. Romano, we don't see you. We have your phone number in the system from previous years.
I have it.
And I'm like, I have it. Unfortunately, I must have fat fingered the phone, and I made my reservations in New York. Meanwhile, we were in Chicago. That was last year. This year, we did it correctly.
Yeah. And, we did hang out with a lot of people in the industry. It's actually a very small industry. When
100%.
we think about it, we get to catch up with a lot of people at Zahn's ballroom.
Mm-hmm.
It was a really good space. I'm going to show you some clips. But Zahn did have a really wide selection of mills and printers and scanners in their room. And we got to hang out afterwards with people.
So actually, let me ask you a question. So like going through the Zahn booth, and I know my answers to it, so I'll answer after you. But Zahn had a great display of a couple intraoral scanners. A lot of actually publicity against the Shining 3D. They had a couple different mills. I mean, they had a huge Armin Gerbach showroom and many other mills. They had a couple different printers. Just off those three topics, if you were going to walk the room and you were going to set up a lab tomorrow, or even say like a lab and a practice, right? What would be your choice for each category of what you saw at the Zahn booth?
I mean, knowing what I know today, definitely would snag one of those 3-shape F8 scanners for desktop scanning. It's a super accurate system that you can use to digitize almost anything analog. Then Formlabs, the 4BL was such a big presence because it was so much bigger than any other printers because of the build platform. And I would definitely grab, I don't necessarily if I would get Armin Gerbach. It's a very good looking unit, but having a lot of experience with it over the years, I probably would have leaned something towards XT Cero or maybe even VHF if I had to pick. And that's about it.
I agree. So if I was, I'm going to break that down into two categories. If I was going to open a dental office tomorrow, now I'm going to take the business mindset, right? That more conservative. Let's not spend too much money, but let's get every tool we would need. I would, without a doubt, really consider the new Shining 3D scanner. Their new platform's great. They just integrated with a.
You're talking about the intraoral scanner.
Intraoral scanner.
So Shine didn't have the intraoral scanners.
They had it there.
In the same room?
Yeah, they had it.
Because I only saw the desktop one.
Yeah, they also had the intraoral scanner for Shining 3D.
The one with photo.
Yes, photogrammetry.
Oh,
so they didn't have it set up. So we went to the Shining booth, and that was the word I was looking for. So thank you. So we went to the Shining 3D booth, and they actually had the full facial scanner, the photogrammetry really intraoral scanner.
Really good
it captured the data really well. I think it's going to be a disruptor in the industry for cost-wise, compared to buying just a photogrammetry scanner, which I think at that time, was selling at $30,000-$40,000.
But it wasn't just that.
Right.
Remember, they had the facial scanner.
Right.
And they have a whole workflow so that when you do your intraoral scan, then you do a photogrammetry scan and a facial scan, and everything's overlaid in one shot with the same package. Yeah. Super simple.
Yep.
Small scanner, small head, very quick, very easy to scan. Really, really a lot of potential there.
Yeah. So I would go with the Shining 3D intraoral scanner if I had to practice. Photogrammetry for sure. Facial scanner if I want to do higher end cosmetics. Very affordable and good quality. We really like the product. I'd go with I'd love to say because I want the aesthetics and the beauty would be Armin Gerbach. But for quality, consistency, and a great milling machine, I'd go with the smaller footprint XT Cera. For those single unit emax crowns, my fast stuff, my temporaries, things like that. And without a doubt, a 4B for my printer, Formlabs. I said I wasn't going to say Formlabs. Or something like that. Anyway, we're talking about down low. Yeah, bad comments. He won't shut up. No. So anyway, so I would go with the Formlabs 4B with the aspect of being able to print ortho models and doing some clear aligners on the spot there. You could also print some provisionals as well too. So that would be my practice selection for digital technology. If I went tomorrow and opened a new laboratory, obviously at the end of the day, money's no object. Without a doubt, I agree with Milos. The new 3Shape lab scanner is phenomenal.
Yeah, nothing even comes
Milos fell in love. He's like, bro, we got to get 2 or 3 of these. I'm like, we don't want any models anymore. We want intraoral scans. I don't want to hear nothing about it.
It's a dual system. You have both models scanned at the same time. The scanner arm just rotates all around.
It's a phenomenal print. It's phenomenal scanner. Phenomenal scanner. So I definitely would go with that for a lab scanner if we needed it. I'd go with the 4BL just like Milos for the Formlabs printer. I mean, don't get me wrong. If I owned a practice and I really want to be overzealous, I'd maybe look at the Meyerson printer. But again, we got to do more beta testing for that. But yeah, without a doubt, if I had to grab, each category off the floor, a laboratory, I'd go with the new 3Shape lab scanner. I'd go with the XT Sarah mill, and I'd go with a Formlabs printer.
Can we just mention? It was very strange this year. I saw so many micro printers.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, absolutely. Well, you look at it.
They were like little trash cans, literally this size with a built platform this big. And they were all over the place.
Yeah. So I was talking to one of my buddies that has a practice in Miami, and he was like raving about Sprint Ray's printer. And I'm like, it was called micro or mini or compact. And obviously, as a lab owner, as a lab owner, we wouldn't even stop to look at it because we're looking for high production. We're not looking for the what. So I'm Googling it while he's on the phone. He's like, Enrico, should I get this for my practice? And I'm looking at it. I'm like, Doc, you only can do like 3 or 4 temps on this. He's like, yeah, that's the whole point. Very small footprint. I'm only looking to temporize a tooth or two. It's very quick. And when you dissect it, that fits a need. That kind of makes sense. I mean, literally, it was like, the footprint was like maybe like 4 Starbucks cups. I guess he could put that on his desk or on the tray, the prep tray when he's prepping the patient. Joking aside, right?
I just gotta wonder.
Yeah, but it's just, I don't know. I mean, I guess for a practice setting, for those onesie twosies makes sense. For me, I'd rather have a little bit more space to do more just in case and not use the space versus waiting for like a little like easy bake oven. When you were kids, my sister had a little easy bake oven, like the little like teaser cupcake would come out of it, but you taste it and you'd be like, okay, where's the real cupcake now? But I don't know. Yeah, there's a lot of micro printers out there, and I think it's much more practice driven.
I think we also have to mention the fact that there was an abundance of 3D printable resins
100%.
From every manufacturer under the sun. If you don't know anything about this space and you're trying to just jump into it, it must be super difficult to navigate.
Overwhelming.
I can't keep track of all the types of resins that are out there. Yeah.
There is so many brands. I mean, some of the stuff, though. I mean, so many brands. I mean, even, you look at Henry Schein, they just came out with their new Zerlux branded resins, which, we're going to R&D and look at, we've heard good feedback, obviously from sales reps. We never had our sales rep tell us their product sucked. But at the end of the day, we're going to try it out. We'll definitely give you feedback on that. But there's so many, we could sit here all day long and probably not even scratch the surface of 10 of them. But, we'll see. I mean, in my opinion, do we have too many? Do we need all the different brands? No. But it's a lot of these manufacturers in the industry trying to stay relevant. Like really look at it, think about it. When I was younger, one of the top 5 gypsums in the industry was Whip-Mix, right? Think about the show this year when we went. There was really not a Whip-Mix presence. Whip-Mix would have their own booth at a lab meeting and really sell their gypsums, their investment material, and all that. Now, Whip-Mix is really trying to make a footprint in printable materials. Yes, there's still a need for stones, but I got to tell you, I think a lot of those private label stone companies have really are starting to eat Whip-Mix's lunch.
I will say, on a regrettable side for myself, Nobel used to always have huge presence at the dental meeting, and they actually used to be in the same ballroom when Schein is now.
Right.
And for the last few years, they're just completely dropped off. They literally had a table smaller than this one with just one sales rep and it was such a, because I work for Nobel, so I'm a little partial to it. I feel like that had so much potential to be like what Straumann is. Straumann had a big presence at the show, which, by the way, we saw the new Serio scanner, which is the Allied Star version of the scanner.
It was publicized. You're not saying anything. They bought Allied Star.
Yeah. But I just felt, And also this year, we had some big name dental technicians pass away. Among them, Willie Geller as well, who was like a big name in the industry.
Absolutely.
But overall, it was we saw a lot of young technicians come into the
which
mix.
is exciting too, right?
Yes.
You're getting a new fresh blood in, right?
Yes.
Which we desperately need, without a doubt. I mean, it's huge, and I got to tell you, Milos was a little disappointed with the footprint of Nobel Biocare, but should be excited because now that he's not there anymore, they're not doing as well. You know, it was
Which means
Milos
I should never leave.
No, we're married for life, brother. I told you that. You ain't going nowhere until death do us part.
And yeah, I think that pretty much summarizes. If you have any other questions about what we've seen at the show, let us know. We'll try to answer it. And then pretty soon, not only are we going to do some intraoral scanning videos, but there's potential of us doing even some surgical videos chairside with some patients and some really cool educational stuff, some photogrammetry stuff. So we're going to have a lot of hands-on how-to videos coming throughout this year. And I think this year is going to be, is going to allow us to create a really good educational foundation for our channel and for the people that follow us.
And I can't stress enough, and we've said it in almost every video where we've been at the platform in the studio talking, if there's something you want to see, like if you're sitting there thinking, how to, and you're typing it into Google, you're typing it into YouTube, dental related, practice side or lab side, comment on one of these videos, get in touch with us, talk to us and ask us what you want to see, and we'll make it happen. We have so many relationships in the industry and so many great partnerships with other laboratories as well as practitioners that we can pretty much create any content you guys are looking for. The last video we made with Itero was a request by one of our clients and our partners on the practice side. And we were excited. I mean, listen, this forum has only been out for a month and a half. We're proud to say we have 40 subscribers. We're hoping that, but we have over 300 views on one video of how to.
Over 2,000 total views.
Yeah, over 2,000 total views. So when you're looking at the way I look at it, I have 40 subscribers. I got 300 views. That means I got 260 of you that haven't subscribed. So let's fix that.
Tisk.
Yeah, exactly. Hey, but guys, as always, we totally appreciate you. We want to give you guys as much information and data as we can. Although I said I wasn't going to bring them up in Forum Labs, it's always a non-biased. If you impress us and we have a great experience with you, we're going to talk about it. If we don't have such a great experience with you, we probably won't bash you hardcore because we feel in second chances. But we're going to be honest, like, we weren't too impressed, like Carbon, right? I'm praying to God, and I looked at it as that the new flexible material Carbon came out with was going to be their lifeline and their saving grace, and I pray to God they perfect it. I want to see every company in this industry prevails. We all are doing business for our families and the greater things in life to make stability for ourselves and other people. So we don't want to see anybody fail. But we are always going to give you an honest opinion of what we think. And it's nothing against the negativity we say to certain companies and the positive. It's just that's what we did. And we spent a lot of money in education on the streets buying stuff that did not work. So we don't mind helping you guys not make the same mistakes we did.
Perfect. And so let's just leave it at that. Again, like and subscribe, and we'll see you next week with some cool videos.
Absolutely, guys. Thank you. Don't forget to like, subscribe, tag, tell a friend, and we'll see you next week.
Take care.
Take care.